Hi, the topic for today is the science of problems. If you go to the dictionary defines problem as a situation or a condition which is unwelcome and harmful and therefore must be dealt with and overcome as soon as possible. Now, the science of problem says that every problem, however minor or grave it has got a life. That means after the life of the problem is over, it disappears, it just goes away on its own. Now, some problems they last for a few minutes, some problems last for a few days, and there are still others which persist for a few months, and still others which persist for a few years. And these are really serious problems. So suppose if you're trying to catch a train and you need to reach the railway platform in the next 15 minutes, the problem is going to last only for the next 15 minutes. Now, whether you make it for the train or not, the problem is going to get over in the next 15 minutes. If you're preparing for an exam for tomorrow morning you're going to get the paper, and that time the problem is get over, irrespective of how you fare in the exam. Now, if that is so, and if every problem is going to end after a particular period of time, what's the problem? What's the hitch? The tricky part here is there are two parts. Number one is we don't know what the life of each problem is, when it's going to end, and so we worry quite a lot. And number two is even if the problem disappears after a certain period of time or when the life of the problem is over, what is important here is what is the impact the problem leaves on us while it goes away. Now, here there are three possibilities. And to make you understand the three possibilities, I'm going to use the analogy of cricket. So let's say there is a one-day international match and one wicket is down and the next batsman is going to play. The most dreaded bowler of the team is going to bowl to this batsman. He's taken the first wicket and he is the fastest bowler ever to be known. At such time, the captain tells his batsman, see, he's going to bowl only 10 overs. One of them is already over. He has to bowl only 9 overs. You do whatever you want. You simply play out these 9 overs and take care that you don't lose your wicket. And the batsman steps into the field with an absolutely defensive mindset. And he succeeds. He plays all the 9 overs and doesn't get out. But what happens? They lose the match. Because they lose those valuable overs and the opportunity to score runs. After 10 overs, the bowler stops bowling, so the problem goes away. But three things happen. A, they lose the match. Number two, the batsman is now again scared to face the bowler the next time he goes to play him in the next match. And number three, though he plays out those 9 overs, he does not enjoy the game. Now, that is exactly the example of a mediocre mindset. Most of the times in life, problems strike us. And we manage to cope up with them. We somehow scrape through. But we don't enjoy the existence of the problem. After the problems leave an impact of fear in our minds. So every time we pray to God, oh Lord, may this situation or a situation like this may never ever come back again in my life. So we are less confident than before, and we slowly and gradually stop enjoying the journey of life. So that's the first impact. The problem goes, but it leaves an impact of fear on your mind and takes away your confidence. The second impact the problem can leave on you is it can simply finish you off. Like, for instance, go back to the cricket analogy, and this pace bowler just gets this batsman out. The game is over. He's out of the field. So sometimes the problem is so serious that a person cannot take an impact. He simply gets a heart attack and he dies. So the problem takes you away, which is the worst impact. And then there's a third impact. This time, the batsman goes to play. But in spite of the fear, he plays with courage. And he says, I'm going to play to win the match. So he uses all his skill and courage and plays the match and ultimately emerges out to be a winner. Now, this is exactly what Sachin Tendulkar did in 1989 when Waqar Younis bowled him a bouncer and hit him on his nose. But with the bleeding nose, Sachin said, "Main khelega." And he went back to the field, and thereby he sent a signal to his brain that I'm going to overpower you. He told the problem that you have to go away defeated. He told the cricketing world and the whole world that I'm going to rule this game of cricket. And not only he ruled the game of cricket, but he ruled his life. And that's how he became a UNIP. So my dear friends, whenever a problem strikes, don't let it get the better of you. We have to see to it that the problem gets defeated and we emerge out of the problem as a winner and as a much more confident person, telling ourselves that if we can face this, next time if something like this comes, I can definitely face it. So the only way to do this is not to worry. Most of the times we slip into the worry mode. That means we keep on imagining horrible things when problems have yet to appear, And after the problem has come, we sometimes victim mode. We think life is cruel, life is ruthless. I'll share one of the instances in my life when something like this happened with me. While I was around 18 years old and I wanted to be a trainer, and everybody told me nobody's going to take you seriously because you're only 18. My academic background was I was a commerce graduate. So my dad told me, why don't you do your post-graduation psychology, and by that you can do your MA and then you can do your PhD and become Dr. Sameer Surve. The idea excited me a lot. The problem was I was not getting admission into the post-graduation of psychology because I had done my graduation in commerce. So Mumbai University rejected me, Osmania University rejected me, Jawaharlal Nehru University rejected me, Annamalai University rejected me, XLRI rejected me. And after so many rejections, I got very cynical. I thought the whole world is against me. Finally, there was a ray of hope when one of my dad's very close friend, Mr. D.B. Karnik, was the founder editor of a Marathi daily called Maharashtra Times. He said, I have a close friend, the Vice Chancellor of Pune University, and I'll get you admission there. Just don't worry. After all, it's not MBBS and MBA we are talking about. It's just an MA course. So we went to Pune. We met the Vice Chancellor, but unfortunately, there too, I was rejected. Now, I really thought there is no hope in my life. I was sitting dejected in the auto rickshaw while returning from Pune, while we were traversing till the taxi stand. And looking at my state, Mr. Karnik said, so you seem depressed. I said, of course, anybody in my state would be depressed. He said, good, you youngsters can afford the luxury of being depressed. And I thought, here I am. I'm depressed and I have every right to be depressed, and you're ridiculing me? And he said, you know what? I can't afford to be depressed because I'm getting a bungalow made, and before the construction of the bungalow is over, I have to finish a lot of work. So I don't have time to get depressed. Now, listening to this, my dad, who was sitting next to us, looked at Mr. Karnik and said, oh, you didn't tell me you're having a new bungalow? He said, yeah, God is making a new bungalow for me in heaven, and as soon as that's ready, he's going to call me. I'm going to die. So before that, I have a lot of work to do on earth, so I don't have time to be depressed. Now, this guy is young, so he has time to be depressed, so he can afford the luxury of being depressed. And that was like a tight slap in my face given by the words of Mr. Karnik. What a wonderful quote. Depression is a luxury which only passive people in this world can afford. So my dear friends, whenever a problem attacks you, attack it back with massive action. Take care that you don't worry and don't slip into the victim mode. Go on punching it with more and more and more of action. Whatever your intelligence and brain can understand, act and have a bias for action and punch out the problem and knock out the problem, and you will emerge a winner. And that's for sure. And that is the science of problems. So my dear friends, learn more, contribute more, have fun in life, and celebrate your uniqueness. Bye for now.